What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday morning. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day. Mondays are rough sometimes, but hope you guys are getting up and feeling great. I want to mention, if you see any movement behind my head, my cat decided wanted to hang out in the room with me while making this video, and she looked really comfortable. See that little dot back there on the bed? That is my cat laying down, just chilling. So if you see any movement, it's just a cat. But anyways, we're just going to talk about the weather specifically for today, talk about what could happen. There is a pretty low chance of some severe weather today and a low chance of some flash flooding occurring. So that's what we're going to talk about. And at the very end of the video, we'll mention the Storm Prediction Center has dropped a 15% risk of severe weather for Friday. So I have a chance it's probably going to linger into potentially Saturday too. So we're going to have some severe weather, unfortunately, at the end of the work week. So I lied to you guys for 2 weeks in a row. But fortunately, hopefully, it's not going to be a major outbreak or anything like that. I don't anticipate it being one, so we'll watch for that. So if you guys got anything I can pray about, definitely put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. Gives others an opportunity to do so too. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, definitely consider doing that. It goes a long way when it's kind of slow out there in the weather world. But this is what we're looking at. Another system, very weak system, entering the west coast. And then we just have this trough that's just taking its sweet time, easy like Sunday morning out here, moving across the middle of the country. You got ongoing convection that's now shifted a little east. So therefore, areas of Arkansas is dealing with a lot of rain this morning, and then even other areas also down here in Texas. We're just not in the radar view right here, but eastern Texas seeing some rain too, with a nice little storm action going on east and southeast of Little Rock, Arkansas. Nothing severe about that. Just watch out here if you're in northern areas and northwestern areas of Mississippi. Some storm action a little bit later this morning. Sorry about the screaming in the background. My girls must be fighting on what show to watch this morning. But going forward here, watch out for high pressure building here. This is going to pump winds out the southwest into this region, the southeast, the Carolinas, Georgia. So therefore, very, very warm temperatures in the Carolinas, Virginia, Georgia throughout the afternoon today. We're expecting temperatures well into the 80s, maybe upper 80s for areas. In fact, it hit 90 degrees in a couple locations in Virginia yesterday. So, I mentioned that in yesterday's video that it could get potentially pretty warm yesterday, and it certainly did. But we have a marginal risk. This is stretching all the way to the Texas-Mexico border here, all the way up to areas like Buffalo, New York, for example. And, everybody in between in this dark green area has a marginal risk for severe weather today. Mainly, the risk is going to be for damaging winds, but, even that, it's not that large, and it's not that significant at all. Hail threats there also, but not very significant. There's a less than a 2% chance of tornadoes being a threat today, so it's not likely we're going to see any issues with any tornadic development at all. But let's take a look at the southeast. What could you see? We'll start this off about 9 or 10 a.m. These showers and storms that you see in eastern Texas and areas of Arkansas will begin to drift, and now the trough kind of sags southward, and on this end of the trough it begins to move eastward. So, areas down here in Texas will continue to see convection throughout the day, rain showers, storms, things like that. We get into the mid-afternoon hours, you're going to see a little bit of storm action here in Tennessee and Kentucky, but it will probably be broken up in action. A lot of areas, especially this area of the southeast, really need to rain. You guys in Arkansas, for example, you guys have been getting a lot of rain. In fact, I think you'll have had too much rain over the last few weeks for sure, but expect some storms here in the northern half of Louisiana, areas of Mississippi, northern Mississippi, and then Tennessee and Kentucky today. And then as we're getting to the evening hours, this will begin to try to re-intensify as it enters Alabama, and then more so central to southern areas of Louisiana as we're getting around dinner time. You guys will see some storms for sure. Watch out, Kentucky, a little bit later this afternoon and this evening, really, as the sun's going down. Maybe some storm action for areas of central and eastern Kentucky, but nothing too significant. This will continue overnight and begin to diminish as you lose the daytime heating in the favorable time of the day. Up here in the northeast, Ohio, you guys around early to mid-afternoon could definitely see some storms. Watch out, Cleveland, maybe a line of storms moves through. The chances of it being significantly severe or anything like that, it's pretty low, but this little line of broken up showers and storms could issue a severe thunderstorm warning or two, so watch out, and especially as we're getting into the late afternoon, evening hours, watch out, Buffalo. You could see some gusty winds this afternoon and evening in western areas of New York State, and then entering areas of PA, Pennsylvania, and things like that. Maybe a little bit of rain showers entering West Virginia, maybe western areas of Maryland just before midnight, but nothing significant at all. Not a whole lot of widespread rain at all. And just some rain showers entering the interior areas of New York State. As far as rainfall, this is between now and Tuesday morning. You're going to see a lot of it. Likely 1 to 2, as much as 3 inches of rain could fall in eastern and southeastern areas of Texas. I mean, look way down here, close to the far southern regions of Texas. You guys could see several inches of rain between now and the next 18 hours. Really could see a lot of rain here. And then, it becomes more isolated the further east you go into Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, where you could see anywhere from a quarter inch, maybe a tenth to a quarter inch, or as much as an inch of rain. It just depends on if you get under one of those heavier showers or storms. And then Buffalo, watch out a little later today, maybe a half inch to an inch of rain. Just depends on where these storms set up, who sees the heaviest rain. But definitely, anywhere from southern sections of Texas all the way up to areas of western New York State and to southeast Canada, you guys could definitely see some rain in this little section of the country right here. Not little, but large section. Temperatures today, very, very warm. We got around 2 days left of really, really warm temperatures, especially in the Carolinas, Georgia, for example, before the trough really influences the weather. But behind this cold front, the boundary right here, you're going to be pretty cool, especially in this area. This is going to be more so rain-cooled air where, the temperatures can't really rebound, even though you really don't even have much of an influence from the trough, the cold front. Temperatures aren't going to be able to climb because of cloud cover and just wet, rainy conditions. But up here, these are high temperatures today. So, highs will not get above freezing from northern areas of Minnesota and North Dakota, and the chilly air begins to move into the northern sections of Michigan, where only 30s and 40s for high temperatures. Wisconsin, areas of Iowa, 30s and 40s for highs. Just spring is just taking its sweet time up there. But if you're in this part of the country right here, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, into the eastern areas, the western areas, the Ohio Valley, Michigan, you guys, you guys have been really warm over the last few days, especially this area of the country right here. But, you're going to have more typical spring-type temperatures with highs probably in the 50s and 60s a days. But in the Carolinas, temperatures probably climbing into the 80s, mid-80s, maybe upper 80s for some areas. And then 80s all the way up into Buffalo, New York. Interior areas of the New York State could definitely see the 80s today. Pittsburgh will reach the 80s before some rain moves in later this evening. West Virginia, the entire state, even the southern Appalachian Mountains, you guys are going to get warm, even in the higher elevations, well into the 60s and 70s, unless you're really, really high up. But, check it out. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody squeaks out a 90-degree temperature here in the eastern plains of the Carolinas, the southeastern areas of Georgia, for example. Florida, you guys are always cooking. Alabama. But, once you get into Mississippi, the state is kind of split in half. Southern areas in the 80s, northern areas only in the 70s and 60s with rain-cooled air moving in a little bit later this morning. Out west, not a whole lot going on as far as moisture. You look at all this rain falling in areas of Texas. But just some rain showers entering Oregon and Washington State. But, outside of that, not a whole lot going on here throughout the afternoon and evening for you guys. But temperatures will be more average to just above average temperature-wise, especially the further west you go. I think you'll have some cloudy dampness up here in Oregon and Washington State, but in the lower elevations in the valley regions, highs will still climb into the 60s, maybe even 70 degrees some areas in Washington State and even Oregon. And then the valleys, the lower elevations of California, definitely reaching the 70s and 80s. Watch out, Nevada. 60s and 70s. They're not really saying watch out like you need to have something to worry about, but some nice temperatures definitely expected. But moving forward in the Friday, there's a 15% risk of severe weather, right? So this is basically a slight risk at day 5. So it's looking likely we're going to be talking severe weather here in the coming days. We'll try to figure out what's going to happen with this. We'll talk more on this tonight. But that's pretty much all I got, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm dealing with a little bit of low-end anxiety this morning, guys. Sometimes you just worry about stuff, and there's really not a whole lot to worry about, and that's pretty much the definition of anxiety. And sometimes it kicks in the morning, so definitely asking for prayers. I'm sure it'll go away within a couple hours, but it seems like with anybody who does suffer with anxiety, and I don't suffer with it. It just hits me just like any other normal human being. It seems like it always happens in the mornings. So definitely pray for me there. I really would appreciate it. And I am human, so I go through my own struggles, but I'm a big time promoter on faith and believing that everything is always going to be okay regardless of the circumstances. So nothing's really going on, just dealing with some things. My mind tends to shift to the next thing to worry about sometimes, and I think a lot of our brains are drilled that way. It can be good and it can be bad, but most of the time it's not needed. So anyways, God bless all y'all. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all this evening.